Joining us now for more, live from Minneapolis, is MS Now reporter Nnamdi Ighanwu. Nnamdi, good to see you. You were watching along with us. What did you make of Tom Homan's comments? And over the last couple of days, you've been speaking with Republicans in Minnesota, both elected officials and voters, about the violence we've seen from federal immigration agents, including those just in recent days, guns drawn. What are they saying?
Well, you know, Jonathan, for starters, I want to point out that in my conversation with Republicans over the last several days, many have pointed to Tom Homan as being more of a steady hand, being better suited than Gregory Bovino to manage the immigration enforcement here, pointing to the more volatile scenes we've seen in recent weeks, the fatal shootings we've seen here, and saying Tom Homan may be able to come and successfully lower the temperature. And hearing his remarks today, many of the remarks I heard from Republicans were coming to mind, including their support for the fact that he's coming here and willing to engage with Governor Walz and Mayor Frey, the fact that he's willing to acknowledge that some mistakes were made and that there may be a pivot that's necessary. And this idea of targeted enforcement, which, though I will caution that even while Greg Bovino was here, he said there was going to be targeted enforcement and there were still allegations that ICE was indiscriminately targeting people. But still, when you hear Homan say we're going to focus more on targeted enforcement, that was what a lot of the people we spoke to over the last several days said they wanted to see, a return to focusing only on the worst of the worst rather than going to communities and perhaps creating a sense of fear. So that was pretty consistent in my conversations with Republicans, several of whom also said that, yes, while they are supportive of ICE action, while they do want to see immigration enforcement, the way that enforcement takes place does matter to them. I spoke to a Republican state lawmaker as well as Republican caucus goers yesterday that said, we don't want anyone in our community to feel that they have to maneuver around town with their papers. We don't want anyone to feel like they're being profiled because of the color of their skin. We, again, don't want someone who's been here for several years, maybe hasn't done anything wrong while being here, to be at the top of the target list. We want to see a focus and a return to only getting the worst of the worst out of this community. So I want to play for you a portion of my conversations yesterday with several Republicans so you can get a sense of the nuance behind their immigration stances.
I know a lot of people, and they know me, and they've shared with me that some of their younger adults are of those who are of color, are afraid that perhaps they might be stopped and questioned and have to show their paperwork, and that's a real concern. And I think that's some of the mistakes that perhaps the federal law enforcement has done by just randomly pulling people over.
I think that obviously the criminals and the other ones, there's enough of those to keep them busy at the present moment, so obviously it should stay that way, but at the same token, even the minor ones, if they're not trying to do the process or go through it, they do create their own set of different problems. So, I guess in the grand scheme of things, I would like to see the laws changed to make the immigration process better.
I totally agree that we need to get the worst of the worst, the felons, the people who, I don't care where they come from, whether they're in Minnesota or they're illegal aliens, as they call them, but they're just going about it the wrong way. People are getting hurt.
I'll also point out, Mika, that in my conversations, people I spoke to were aware of the political implications of all of this. If you're a Republican here and the goal is to win over more moderates, more independents, then some of the scenes we've seen unfold here in the Twin Cities may make that harder. So there was an understanding that there needed to be a shift, mistakes needed to be acknowledged, and that if Republicans here hope to expand their coalition, they may have to adjust, at least slightly, their immigration stance and some of the rhetoric we're hearing from them.
MS Now's Nnamdi Ighanwu, thank you very much, reporting live from Minneapolis. We appreciate it.